Dr.Subramanian Swamy joining us on the broadcast. Sir, appreciate you speaking with us once again. Very briefly, could you apprise our viewers of the allegation that you're making on the basis of which the Ministry of Home Affairs has issued this notice?
My charge against Mr. Rahul Gandhi arises out of the forms that he has filled in his own hand and signed it and presented it to the British authorities, who then, having examined the veracity of the items that he had filled, uploaded it on the official website of the government. And I downloaded it from that. And that in his form he has said, when asked what is his citizenship, he said British. And not once but 3 times, 2004, 2005, 2006. And then the company wound up. They think this is prima facie evidence. And the obvious way of proceeding is to ask Mr. Rahul Gandhi to explain. Is this your signature? Did you start a company in Britain without telling the authorities in India, like the Enforcement Directorate and the FCRA, that you started a company in Britain and dealt in foreign exchange in its transactions and declared yourself as a citizen? Article 9 of the Constitution says very clearly that if you are a citizen of India and you take voluntarily a citizenship of another country, you automatically cease to be an Indian citizen. And therefore, if it is proved that indeed he had taken British citizenship, then his citizenship of India will automatically go. So the Home Ministry is asking him, did you take British citizenship as you declared to the British authorities? I'm sure that the Home Ministry has also done some work with the British government.
Okay. While the Ministry of Home Affairs has sought an explanation from Rahul Gandhi, the allegation coming in from the Congress at this point, of course, is that the timing is suspect.
There were no proceedings there at all. Then some people from Amethi had come to me, they wanted these documents, and I gave it to them.
Okay.
On that basis, they filed an objection. The returning officer said that I can't decide this. The Home Ministry has to advise me whether he's a citizen of India or not.
Okay. Dr. Swamy.
Just why somebody's complaint go by.
Okay. Dr. Swamy, can you hear me?
The Home Ministry's notice becomes very important.
Dr. Swamy, the question...
got disconnected. That's right.
All right.
Yes.
We seem to have lost that audio line with Dr. Swamy. While we can hear him, I don't think he can hear us. So we're going to just try and reconnect with Dr. Swamy in just a bit. But he says, Dr. Swamy has claimed Dr. Swamy has claimed in this letter that there are income tax returns, the annual returns that were filed in 2005 and 2006 of a company that has been registered in the UK, in which Rahul Gandhi has declared his nationality as British. So that's the allegation that he has levelled. It is a serious allegation. He says that there are documents that substantiate his claim. Dr. Swamy, very briefly, when we've been joined by, the first reaction that's coming from the Congress so far on the broadcast is that they're questioning, not just the motive, of course, but also questioning the timing. Would you like to clarify on that? Why is the timing so suspect? Why does it come just before Amethi is seeing an election?
Well, see, these illiterates don't know the criminal law. Criminal law, there is no such thing as timing. As soon as you come to know of a crime being committed, or you think a crime has been committed, you have to immediately inform. Timing is not in my hands. Why did he declare himself a British citizen after becoming a member of Parliament in India? Does he not know Article 9 of the Constitution of India? So you ask them, he has to answer. Timing is not an argument. It's just an excuse.
Okay, they are alleging that this is political vendetta, given that similar objections were raised earlier this month by Dhruv Lal, an independent candidate contesting from Amethi. However, the returning officer at the time in Amethi by the name of Mr. Ram Manohar Mishra, if I am not wrong, had declared that the Congress President's nomination papers were valid. Now, what does the declaration of nomination papers being valid means as far as your claim is concerned?
When a lot of illiterate people start commenting on these things, this is the kind of rubbish that gets out. The returning officer in the order said, I can't decide this matter. The Home Ministry has to advise me.
Okay.
And therefore he says, I will go by whatever Mr. Rahul Gandhi has declared on the form without giving an opinion.
Okay.
Please read what the returning officer says instead of just hearing it from the Congress party.
Okay, but the nomination papers were declared valid. Are you saying that that is all that was within the jurisdiction of the returning officer and therefore you've taken this a step further and approached the MHA?
That is therefore.
Okay. Now, if I understand...
That's right. He could not comment on that he was a citizen.
Yes, sir. Please elaborate on, please clarify on this point, because this is, of course, the first question that I'm sure, everyone's going to ask you through the course of the day, that the returning officer gave him a clear chit. What you're essentially clarifying to us here on the broadcast is that that wasn't actually a clean chit. That was just that within the returning officer's jurisdiction, he could only declare the papers valid. It wasn't his jurisdiction to further examine the veracity of it. Is that what you're saying, sir?
That's right. You've understood very well. You're a clever lady.
All right. Dr. Swamy, what do you anticipate will happen from here on? Rahul Gandhi has been given a fortnight, interestingly, to come clean on this claim. Within that fortnight, and before that deadline of a fortnight is over, on the 6th of May, Amethi is going to go to the polls. So he is still going to be contesting this election. How do you see this playing out? What do you think will be the chronology of events going forward?
Well, if he replies within 15 days, he better reply the truth, because otherwise it will be perjury. And that's a more serious crime. And let me tell you, whether the election takes place or not, whether he gets elected or not, the 1999 Supreme Court judgment clearly makes it obvious that if there is a fraud discovered, then the election will stand cancelled automatically without going to as an election petition.
It's a very serious charge, sir, that you have levelled against Rahul Gandhi. Who else are signatories in this? Is Priyanka Gandhi Vadra too a signatory in this? Is it incriminating against her as far as her citizenship is concerned as well? What more details, sir, can you divulge at this point?
No, I think I'd rather concentrate on first sending Rahul Gandhi to where he belongs, namely London or Italy, wherever he wants to go. Let me do this one at a time. But I would say that no member of the present Nehru family or Nehru Gandhi family is eligible to be a member of Parliament of this country.
All right, that's a...
I mean, in this, in the case of Sonia Gandhi, she cannot be Prime Minister.
All right. That's a very tall claim that has been made by Subramanian Swamy. He has, of course, made an official representation to the Ministry of Home Affairs, basis which a notice has been sent to Rahul Gandhi to, in fact, come clean on the documentary evidence that has been submitted before the Ministry of Home Affairs. Appreciate you, Dr. Swamy, for joining us.